I just passed another trophy truck on Zoo Road in San Filipe in Mexico.
We are so damn excited to jump into this truck.
Commissioned the build of a brand spanking new trophy truck.
Is a feeling that you only get once.
So, Think 2024 for me was the biggest disappointment I think that I've had in my life. You know, I've always had this dream of being on the podium at Think, and I've worked really hard towards it. You know, we've put a lot of effort in. Obviously, we've been in an amazing position that we've had the ability to go off-road racing, but it was just a podium finish that I wanted. I never had the desire to go and win Think. I think I started off-road racing probably a little bit late in my career, but I knew that I had the talent to get on the podium at Think. So Think 24, what should have been is we should have been on the box. And I don't think there's a day that goes past that I don't think about that what if, you know? What if that stud didn't break, you know? I think also I gained the confidence that I could do this. Like, I could do this sport. I can run at the top. I know I can run at the top. I didn't have the equipment to be able to prove that. Now, Sarah and I, if you go back about 5 years ago, we visited a company in San Diego called TSCO Racing. And we went over there, and at that time we were definitely not in the position, and probably, to be honest with you, I'm still not in the position if you talk to my accountant to buy a brand new trophy truck. But I went over there with the dream, just have a look. I met the team, met John Vance, the owner, obviously met his son and the whole crew over there, but we just couldn't financially put it together.
Figured out how we could do it though.
Oh, babe, you figure out how you can do everything.
If we sell the house.
Oh, okay, and we can live.
If we sell the house, we build camper trailers.
Yeah, you
That's
good.
what we do. Like, we could live.
That's right.
We could live in a camper trailer, right?
Yeah.
And we could just
Fast
travel
trucks.
around and just do the race circuit. And the kids could be the mechanics. Mia could be my nav.
Yeah.
And you can homeschool the kids.
What? 100% go back.
I bought the Get truck to find out whether I can do this sport or not. So knowing that I can do it, after Think 24, it would have been not even a week after we got home from Think, and it was Sarah. Sarah was just like, YOLO, order the truck.
I got my brothers and my fam standing next to me. I'll go to war for what I love until the death of me. You quitting in the first is not a threat to me, because what breaks me is what makes me, is my destiny. I know we heard it all before, but let me give it to you straight. When you're back against the wall, you just step up to the plate. Who to call, who gon' fall, don't be asking who to blame. Go insane, hey, since I lit the flame, I ain't scared to burn away.
So we did. Worked out a deal with the boys at TSCO, and I commissioned the build of a brand spanking new trophy truck. I don't have the desire for a Ferrari, you know? I don't want a Lamborghini, you know what I mean? I don't want a 200-foot yacht. I just wanted a competitive trophy truck. That's what I've wanted for as long as I can remember. So having the ability and being in the position to do it, and knowing that we can run with the best, I think we bought the best truck. So what we've bought is a TSCO 6100 Spec Trophy Truck. Now, for the people who don't know what that is, it's a full-size trophy truck, but it's two-wheel drive, and the Spec class is a fully sealed LS engine. So in this class, it's highly competitive because everybody has the same amount of horsepower and everybody has the same transmission. Outside of the engine and the transmission, we're pretty much allowed to do absolutely anything that we want. How it came about me buying a TSCO, I've obviously been watching Toby Price out at Think over the 3 wins that he had in his TSCO truck, and really watching the way that car changed directions was the thing that really got me. I've built this thing to a spec that I can bring it back home to Australia. So we've put in a trans tunnel that will accept an Albans, and we've got all of the latest stuff. Now this is the third ever Gen 3 TSCO that's been built. They're a little bit wider, steering geometry has changed a little bit. We worked with PWR radiators here in Australia. I was running all of their coolers in my truck, had huge success with that. So we got the full suite of PWR coolers in the truck. I know they're going to keep the temps down, and they're proven and tested. Wheelie's running them on his truck, and there's a lot of the big trucks in the unlimited class that are starting to switch over to PWR coolers because of the technology that they have, which really comes from Formula One. When it came to the wheels, there was only going to be one choice for the truck. Method had a long-standing relationship with the team at Method. They hooked us up with a brand new set of billet wheels. They've given us some cast wheels that we're going to be running as spares, but we'll be running on the forged wheels for the whole season. And I think the polished look and that style of that rim just really sets off the whole wrap. We actually had the choice when it came to the shocks, and once again, I used previous experiences, but I knew that Fox were at the top of the game, and being down there in San Diego around El Cajon, you got Fox shocks being manufactured not far from TSCO, and that's the preferred TSCO, their shock of choice. So Fox hooked us up with a set of coilovers and bypasses for the truck, but it's all been tuned by a really good mate of mine, Jason Duncan, at SDG. I met Jason out here at Fink. He's raced it a couple of times out here. He's got a couple of wins from the nav seat. There's nothing that he doesn't know about trophy trucks. He navigates for Luke McMillan. They've won every single Baja race multiple times in a few instances. We're going to have the ability to get the car really dialed in with the team that Duncan's got there taking care of the servicing of the shocks, which is going to be one of the highest maintenance items. But I think more importantly, being able to leverage that relationship with the team at SDG and get Jason in the navigator seat with me to teach me a few tricks on what the truck can and can't do, but more importantly, just get that suspension dialed in. During the years of all the Overland Expos, I've formed an amazing relationship with the team at Rigid Lighting in the United States, and they've hooked the truck up for Baja racing. Now, I've heard all of these crazy stories about what happens in Baja down at night, and your mind start playing tricks on you, and we wanted to ensure that we had the best gear on. So they've hooked us up with a pair of 30-inch light bars in the front, a couple of DXLs. We've got A-pillar lights up there as well. We've got a mix of orange so we can see in the dust, and the white high beams. And when we get down into the Baja 1000, we got two massive rigid 40-inch light bars going up on the roof that are controlled by an electronic actuator. So I'm really stoked to have Rigid on board and making sure that they can turn the night into day for us when we get down to the 1000. Well, for me, racing Baja started when I was at school. I know exactly when it started. I know the moment that it started. I can't remember what came first, whether it was Krusty Demons of Dirt or Dust to Glory. I'm not sure which one it was. I think Krusty's came first, and we were all into dirt bikes at that time, and we were riding. My brother was racing. I never raced dirt bikes. And I can remember watching Dust to Glory. You know, that was the first real documentary, or the first time I've heard of Baja racing in the past, but I can definitively remember sitting there and watching that. And that's what started my desire to go and race Fink. You know, it was watching that, and for 20 odd years, it was like, that's a dream. That'll never happen, you know? Us racing a trophy truck down in Mexico, what's the next best thing? The next best thing will be the Fink Desert Race, and that's where I kind of latched on to the Fink Desert Race. If I mention the word trophy truck to somebody who's not in the circle or doesn't understand what a trophy truck is, then I'll use the terminology Baja truck. And they'll say, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And this is where the history of Baja racing comes from. This is its birthplace, down in Mexico. Ensenada specifically, and San Filipe. The 250 is the first race that starts the season. Now, to think that we're going into the remotest areas of one of the remotest countries possibly on the planet, and by remote I mean it has so much sparse land that nobody populates. The terrain is so hard to conquer.
Mexico is the roughest, most out of the way, most like it's just every single thing that you think about that comes good and also goes bad with the outdoors. Mexico has everything down there, and it's a crazy place to go and race.
Late 60s, I think, they started the first Baja 1000, and like most off-road races, it started as a motorcycle race, started as a dirt bike race. But you think about the history that's down there in Baja, you think about brand names that people know. Mickey Thompson used to race down in Baja. Walker Evans used to race down in Baja. Johnny Campbell won the Baja 1000, I think, 12 times. You know, Larry Rossler, who I actually met. I was standing on trackside, I was pre-running, and this old guy came up to me and he asked one of the kids for a spare part. He needed something to fix something, and we just got to talking and 5 minutes into the conversation, I'm like, are you Larry Rossler? And he's like, yeah, man, that's me. This guy's won Baja like 10 times. He's in his 60s and he's still racing Baja. So it's, you know, the legends that have come out of that sport, but more so than the legends, the brand names. Like I said, Mickey Thompson, Walker Evans, these are the names that you know. These are guys that founded companies with the same passion that we have, the passion that I have for Patriot campers, and it was all born out of this race that was happening down in a remote area of Mexico that no one knew about. And then it started attracting, you know, Steve McQueen, like Steve McQueen from Hollywood. He used to race Baja, you know, so that it's got a romance around it. It's got history around it. And it's one of the biggest challenges that I think that we're ever going to face is seeing what we can do and if we can run with the boys down in Baja.
When we talk about rougher and fast, we don't mean just the holes of the track. We mean the whole event. Like, you are actually allowed to tap other people and kind of play bumper cars if you really wanted to with the other drivers, which we can't do over here racing. And there is these beds that are like nothing you've ever seen before. You don't know where things are popping out, or you're in the car for a longer period of time, or you begin going crazy. I can't really focus on what's going on. The whole experience is so much more intense than anything that Australian racing can provide.
Oh, the culture down in Mexico, I've heard about it. I've spoken to everybody about it. Nothing prepared me for it. I don't think you can actually, it's not fair to compare Fink to Baja racing, I don't think. I think you're talking about two different countries with two completely different sets of rules, and that's, you know, for better or for worse, that's the biggest separation between the two of them. Mexico doesn't, I can drive the trophy truck to the gas station on the highway. But more than that, you know, the fans down there are just that wild for the sport. They're that crazy, and it's just completely unpoliced down there. It's scary. And again, watching all the videos of how closely spectators get down there because they have the passion for it, you can't compare the two.
Such a different experience racing there. It feels like the Wild West. It feels almost lawless. It's a very freeing experience, being able to just go out, jump in the car and know that it is completely up to the Baja gods what happens.
All right, Judson, this one's for you, homie. Check this out. We're at TAC. So you got Tavo, Bryce. Look at this. Check this out, dude. Empudia, Lofton. Dude, you believe this shit? I actually sent a video out to Juddo. You know, you guys all know Juddo. He lives and breathes this stuff as much as I do, and I'll be honest with you, I was really missing him at this race because we've spoken about this for so long together, you know, as mates. but he'll rest assured, there's not going to be another Baja race that he's going to miss. But these are all guys that, you know, that to me, these guys are my heroes. You know, I don't know them, I've never met the guys, you know, but because they're at the pinnacle of my dream. The game plan for this race, and I don't think anybody's going to be surprised, is get the twins into the truck. Yeah, and they are the future of the team. Their future of the sport for Patriot campers. The twins are going to be the successors. So this is the perfect opportunity. The new trophy truck in the team it's not my truck, it's the team's truck. It belongs to me, Christian, Ashton, Mia and Sarah. It's about getting the kids prepared for the future, because I don't think there's anybody who's watched Christian and Ashton race that doesn't know that they've got what it takes. The pair of them, they have completely different driving styles, but they are both extremely fast, extremely competitive, and with a little bit more age is going to come the real understanding of the responsibility that they have and the privilege that they have of getting into a trophy truck. So, but I'm going to qualify the truck. I'm going to race to race mile 160, and at race mile 160 I'm going to hand the truck over to the twins. Christian's going to drive the first race, and Ashton's going to navigate for him, and they're going to bring it home at race mile 250. We'll see how that kind of unravels, and we'll make a plan for the rest of the season, for the next 3 races throughout the rest of the year, and we'll kind of work on our strategy as the boys start coming up to speed on what the truck can do. Ultimately, we want to get them in for qualifying. They're not ready yet. They need some seat time. What we can't afford is any damage to the truck or the kids getting a bit hot-headed. I know where I sit. I know I'll qualify at the back, but I know on race day that I can turn it up too. Qualifying didn't hit me in San Filipe like it does here in Australia, because we had nothing to prove. We had absolutely nothing to prove. We went out to qualifying in our race spec truck. You know, we didn't change the final drive gear. We didn't change the underdrive. We didn't do a special shock setup. The whole point of qualifying for us this year was just get some seat time in the truck. I didn't want to put the pressure on the first race onto the twins of going out there and qualifying the truck. I didn't want them to have a negative experience, that there's so much pressure that Dad's going to expect us to run in the trophy truck like we do in the 10 car, because I can't remember an event that the twins have been to in the 10 car where they haven't qualified first. I can't remember the last time that happened. For us, it was just about getting it around the truck. Didn't really care where we finished. We knew we were going to be somewhere in the back of the field, but I've done it year on year on year. I run better from the back, always have, and I think I always will. So it'll be interesting when the twins get into the truck and they learn how to qualify, how that changes our whole racing strategy and our dynamics. Let's get the truck out, let's have a clean run. I don't want to come back with a damaged panel, let alone a truck with a problem. I don't want to put that on TSCO. and let's just ease into this thing and see what the truck can do.
All right, we're here, San Filipe 250, so we're staging right now. We're getting ready to take off. We'll be taking off in about an hour's time. Just constantly pinching myself. I can't believe we're finally here, you know. Lifelong dream for me. This race, I am going to say we're here to make up numbers. We're starting from the back. We qualified very conservatively. I just want to get the truck to the boys in one piece. Once again, pumped to be here. Massive thank you to SCORE for putting this on, all the other race teams, everybody who supported us to get here. I'm just, words can't explain. So the game plan, let's get the truck to the finish line for our first race down here in Mexico.
We are so damn excited to jump into this new truck. There has got to be some reason why all of these big boys are spending multi millions of dollars on cars and going out racing. There's got to be some sort of buzz there that you can't get from a 10 car, or not as much. There's got to be that addiction that keeps people coming back to racing. So we're very excited to get in the car.
We're up on the box. I've watched every video, you know, the big San Filipe signs there, the SCORE thing, the bands, the fans, and the lights count down, the 3, 2, 1, and we're on the ceremonial start and click that thing into gear, and mate, we're off. We're racing in Baja. We're at San Filipe. And it's about a 1 mile track through the township on tarmac, and then we hit the dirt and we go over a jump, and it's go time. It's funny for me because race day, I'm complacent. I don't get nervous. I don't do anything silly, but I want to feel the car out. I want to get into the groove, and it was very, very quick. It was in the first kind of 5 miles, and I started sniffing dust in front. The only thing that I've got to think about for the next 160 miles is get the twins in the truck. We're chasing the dust, and we're getting closer. I know Zoo Road's coming up, and Zoo Road is scary. We've pre-run out there. The holes are irregular. They are massive. I don't know what this truck can do. And I've watched all of the videos, and it is lined with thousands of spectators, and they are literally standing on the edge, and they're packed 5 deep for a straight that is, I don't even know, it must be 10 or 15 miles long. Guiding a missile, not even guiding a missile, we're riding a missile, because when you get to those speeds and those bumps, I don't care what any driver says, you're not in control. You're definitely not in control of the car, yeah? You're guiding the thing, but anything can happen coming down there. So I'm nervous coming into Zoo Road. And I made the biggest mistake of the race. So I came into Zoo Road in second gear at a pace of maybe about 50 miles an hour because, again, I didn't know what the truck can do, and I wanted to feel out the truck. The big mistake that I made is once we started hitting the big holes, I couldn't get the truck on top of them. I couldn't get up to pace. I entered far too slow. But when we've come into this section where the bump's got a lot smaller, I've clicked the thing back down to gear. I gave it everything that we could, banged it into top gear, and it felt like just as I banged it into top gear, we hit the big bumps and we were just on top of the stuff. And we were just wah, 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 like the videos, like everything I've seen on YouTube. And so we're in this truck. We're doing, I think we got up to about 90 mile an hour, something like that, going through the big bump. No, it wasn't that much. I think we got up to about 80 mile an hour in the big bumps. I'm just steering. All you're seeing is people flashing. There's, you know, people running across the road with iPhones and taking photos. And what's going through my head at that time is, I hope nothing goes wrong because we'll kill someone. And then ironically, probably, we started seeing dust again, and we're on Zoo Road. We're in top gear. We are flying, and the dust is getting thicker and thicker, and I'm coming up on someone on Zoo Road. And we've come over the road crossing, we've got back into it, and then the old Justin kind of came back in, and I wanted to get this car. Don't know who it was, but I wanted to get him so bad. I pushed it really hard, really, really hard. And I've just seen these lights, and we're still on Zoo Road, the biggest holes towards the back end of Zoo Road. In Mexico, it's completely legal to give the car in front a punt, right? That is just part of Baja racing. At that speed, with that much crowd, looking back at it, I don't know if I would have actually hit him. I think maybe I would have, just to get that tick to say, you know, that we've had a punt with another car on Zoo Road, but he's seen me last minute, he's kind of pulled to the left. I couldn't get clean around him, so I just straight up the side of him, just bang, bang, bang. We're banging panels on Zoo Road through the biggest bumps ever. And I think after I got around him, I had to recompose myself. Like, I actually felt tears coming out. Like, I just passed another trophy truck on Zoo Road in San Filipe in Mexico. And from there on out, I knew it was going to be a good run. It was going to be a good race. We took that right-hand corner and headed back towards the highway. As we're heading towards the highway, we've got another 5 mile, and who's on the side of the road? Right beside me on the right, Robbie Gordon. Like Robbie, the man, he's that, Robbie Gordon. He's there on the side of the road, breaking down. I've come past him, and my brother goes to me, well, mate, you just passed Robbie Gordon in Baja. And it was just, like, just absolutely mind-blowing. They have VCPs down in Mexico, virtual checkpoints. So what it is, it's a geofence checkpoint, and we have a GPS receiver inside the car, and you've got to get into a certain diameter of that VCP, and that's how they control the track. Down in Mexico, and especially San Filipe or here, there is multiple lines. There's really 2, 3, 4, 8 lines through any part of the track, and all you have to do is hit from VCP to VCP. How you get between those 2 VCPs, that's completely up to you. So there's no definitive track. If you miss a VCP, it's a 15-minute penalty for each VCP that you miss. Now at San Filipe, I think there's over 200 VCPs. So if you can imagine you miss 4 VCPs, you get an hour. That's, your race is over. So it's imperative that you hit every single VCP. Now we were coming in about race mile 40 through a wash. We had the track marked, something happened, we lost our marks. Jamie picked up and goes, dude, you've just missed the VCP. And to me, 15 minutes, we know what 15 minutes would cost us back at home. San Filipe is a sprint race. If we were at the Baja 1000, maybe I would have ignored it and kept going, but this is a 250-mile race. Banged it down a gear, we took a sharp right-hander off into the bush, into the scrub, and Jamie just, he's a freak like that. His composure in the car is just, it's just next level, you know. Bit of left, a little bit of right, give it a bit of left, brake here, and we're going through bush and scrub and we're off the track. The GPS lights up, green light, ding, hit the VCP. Jamie yells at me, right, got it, turn it around, spun the car back around. That was the first time I almost got bogged in the truck. We were back in first gear and we were just labouring through the sand. We come back onto track. That was our first mistake. Cost us a couple of minutes, but all good. We hit the VCP and let's keep going to the race mile 160. Race mile 115, so the crew at TSCO organised for us to pit with one of their customers, Bryce Swain. He's been running out there in Baja. I think he actually finished in, he's probably going to kill me, I should know this. I think he finished in like third in the 6100 class. This was a moment that I just wasn't prepared for. It was like lightning. We pulled into the pit, we've come around the corner, we've got them on the radio, you know, we've said we're about 2 miles out. So the pit stop that, you know, part of our strategy at 1:15. Before we get into some more really big bumps, we wanted to reload the rear end of the truck by filling it with gas. So the trophy trucks run through the bumps much cleaner, much softer, smoother, more controllable, with more weight in the back. So we decided before the race, 1:15 was our refuel spot, so I could get it through the bumps a lot quicker. We've pulled in, I felt the back of the truck go up on the jack, because we've done a tyre change as well. And I was fumbling, searching, trying to find my drinker hose. So I found my drinker hose. That took me about 10 or 15 seconds to find it. I literally put it in my mouth. I felt the back of the truck go down and the cone goes off the front of the truck and the team disappears. And I look at them like, we're done. And they're like, go, 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 go. "42 seconds. 42 seconds. Rear tyres and a full tank of gas in 42 seconds. These guys had us back out on the track. And I was not prepared for it. I didn't have time to even have a drink, and we're going again. By that time, we'd been in the truck for about 3 hours-ish, something around there. come down into a gully, heading down into a wash, really steep gully, like first gear. We're kind of just rock crawling in first gear. And we come down this hill and I knew, and Jamie's like, you know where we are, you know where we are. And I'm like, yeah, mate, I know where we are. We've pre-run the hell out of this section because this was the section where anything could have gone wrong. And I've come up over the right, but now it's race day, and you've got to remember all the top guys are out there and all the big trucks have run, and now they've really burnt in all of the lines that they've been hiding from every other racer. So as we've gone to take that right, I've seen a new line burnt in on the left. So I've hesitated for a second, I've gone to go left. Jamie's like, VCP, VCP, meaning stay on the track. So by the time I kind of hesitated just that little bit, I've hit the brakes, the truck's on the side of a hill like this, and then the only way to go was reverse. I clicked it into reverse, and sure enough, as soon as I hit the gas, the truck just bogged down, just straight down to the diff. We're bogged. So we're sitting on a very blind corner, very admittedly slow, but a very blind corner. We've got the rest of the race field coming up, and I'm completely bogged down to the diff. So my brother's out the truck. He struggled. I think that one incident took us 6 or 7 minutes to get the truck out. So once again, I'm waiting for trucks to come around us, and nobody came around us, no one came. So I knew that our pace was on point, but I also knew that I've just made a mistake that's really going to cost us finishing in a good place of the race, and that was, for me, that was heartbreaking, yeah? Yes, the goal was obviously to finish, and yes, the goal was to hand it over to the boys, but how nice would it be if we top 10 in this thing? How nice would it be if we got to that podium in a top 10 position? And I kind of started seeing that going out the window. I was disappointed with myself, I was frustrated with myself. It was probably the thing that I needed as well. Because at that point in the race, I was Superman in that truck. I was pushing that thing so hard, you know, and I knew we were doing so well. So looking back on it, it was probably a little bit of a blessing that happened, because it calmed me down and reminded me what we were there to do, and the goal was give the truck to the boys. Ironically, as soon as we've got the car out of being bogged and we've taken that right-hander down into the wash where the spec trucks don't like the wash, they're very slow in the wash. We're in a 2-wheel drive, 3-ton truck with no horsepower. So in the washes, the big loamy sand, they don't perform. Into the soft stuff, the car's labouring, and a Polaris Razor just goes ding, straight across, like 4-wheel drive, 650 kilos. They sit up on top of the stand. They're making 200 horsepower now, and the thing just goes straight past us. And I'm like, dude, I just bought a trophy truck and I just got passed by a Razor. Like, that ain't happening. That's not going to happen. There is no, either that truck is going to stay here and not make the finish line, or I'm going to get back in front of the Razor. I pushed so friggin' hard. We were in the roughest part of the track by now, and that played huge to our advantage. 40-inch tyres and the suspension travel versus, you know, a 35-inch tyre and the suspension travel of a Razor. It was a matter of time before we got him, but dude, I can also tell you, I've never seen a Razor driven that quick, you know? This guy was on fire. The way he was driving the car, I come from driving Razors. I've never seen a Razor get punished like that in my life. We had a great battle with him. We had an absolutely epic battle with him. I kind of followed him the whole way through the rough stuff, and when it got super rough, that's where I could put the Mac down, and then we get back into some real tight, twisty stuff. And he'd like a jackrabbit, you know, he'd just jackrabbit on me and I couldn't catch him. And then back into the rough stuff, and this went on for, I don't know, I reckon it went on for 5 to 10 miles. But we finally got around him, made a super clean pass on him. I've said it in previous, I won't jeopardise the trophy truck behind a Polaris. There's no way I'd ever hit a Polaris and leave him enough gap that it's nice and safe, because we know who's going to come off best if there's a collision. But we got around him super smooth, and we're on, we're going.
The feeling of waiting at that tent for Dad to hand over the truck, and just the feeling of racing in general, you have no idea what is going to happen. Like, we've flown halfway across the world. Dad's just got a new truck we've never driven one beat before. There is so many emotions going on already, and you can feel your heart beating out of your chest.
But the highlight of the race was knowing that the twins were about to get in the trophy truck and race in Baja. Like the twins are about to race Baja in a trophy truck, and I'm going to hand them the truck. So for that next 5 miles, I was extremely cautious. I was braking so early. I did not step the back of the car out. I didn't over-rev the motor. You know, we've been in this situation racing so many times when you're so close to completing your goal and something minor goes wrong. I'm driving and I'm looking, I'm trying to find them, and I think I was just so excited to get in the car. I kind of overshot the brake mark, jammed on the brakes, buried the front nose. The TSCO boys jumped out of the way, and I've tried to get out through the window, and as I've gone to push myself out the window, my left leg wasn't working. Just, there was nothing there. Like, it was completely locked up. I got an old injury from the knee, like whatever, but never really been a problem before, but something happened in San Filipe, being in that truck for 4 hours, that it locked up. Watching the footage back, it's actually quite funny, but there's Christian standing there, Sarah's cheering, you know, Mia, like, there's Marco, the TSCO boys, and to hand that truck over to my sons, that's a moment that I'll never ever forget, you know. I've just completed my dream, and they're just starting theirs. And it happened right in that 20 or 30 seconds, you know? That was a major handing over of the torch to me.
The pressure of jumping in the truck, there's build and build and build and build until you're actually harnessed in. Once the harnesses are on, pressure's off, just focus on the race. Getting settled into the car took every bit of 10 to 15 miles just to get in the actual groove of racing. You're constantly thinking about lines, notes, issues on the car, hearing sounds. Once you figure out everything's all good, it's all going fine, you just chill out, and you just focus on just driving the car. When we got handed the car from Dad and Jamie, they kept it in very good shape. There was a bit of damage to the hood on the front right, but other than that, the car mechanically got handed over to us perfectly. We were following another truck for a really long time, kept on gaining on him, kept on getting closer, but by the time we were actually on him was when we got into the tightest part of our section, so we couldn't make a pass because there simply wasn't another line. We had rocks on both sides of the main line. We just had to sit there patiently and just wait for the right opportunity.
Everybody has that instinct that you just need to go, get past at any day. But then we just kept on thinking and talking to each other, just being like, we had one rule, get to the finish, don't do anything dumb, we'll just wait until we get the chance. And we also kind of reverted back to Australian rules where you can't touch any cars. It didn't even cross our minds to give them a tap. Some of the coolest parts about Mexican Baja racing is the little fights that the truck drivers have in between each other. If we had remembered that we could have tapped, I think that I would have pushed him a bit harder just to get your first little a tap in Baja, because that's kind of what it's all about, being competitive and just getting out there. So I see, we would have tried to warn him that we weren't there from just a tap, but there was really nothing that either of us could do. It was so tight. One thing that you quickly forget in that car is that we're not in a 10 car anymore. The thing doesn't weigh 1,000 kilos, it weighs 3 tons. So I would have thought a lot more about how to keep a momentum up a lot more in those washers, and also the car is a lot bigger than the 10 car. So it's when we dropped down in the Razor, our pre-runner, and we turned that corner. It felt fine, all good, no issues with it, but we also had mapped out a line that went around to the right and straight shot through that canyon, and on the day of the race, we hadn't really made up our minds on what line to take, but we took the left line with the hard left down the bank into the off tilt, and just instantly got the car bogged. Tristan is hands down the most qualified person to talk about the experience of getting out of that bog hole, because he didn't even get out of his chair. Go on.
That's the whole point, is that I don't get out. That is why I have you here, right? Yeah, so it just so happened that where we got bogged, there was a family out there in their Can-Am just out there watching the race. But I don't even think that Ashton was out the car by the time that they had their car down on the track, hooked up with a rope, ready to help get us out.
You can tell that the people who helped us, they are veterans in the art of watching a motorsport. They knew exactly what to do. There was another guy on the back of the car ripping the max tracks off. They knew exactly what to do, and the whole time they just kept on yelling at me, get back in the car, we got this, all good. Like, they just knew exactly what was going on. It was perfect.
Seeing the Mexican fans get involved with the racing is something that would and could never happen racing over here. Like you hear the rules over there might be a bit loose, but it's because of that, which is why I think most of the fans come down there to watch the race, is because that everyone that's down there on the track at some point could get the opportunity to get involved.
It's very easy as the navigator to maybe undermark your notes because you think that you've got it all down, but then you have to realize you can't plan for what point in the race you will have dust, or you won't have dust, or you'll be going fast, or you won't. You need to know every single inch of that in track, because if you come off by just a bit and there's a boulder off to your right that you really should have marked, and you hit it, your race is over, when all it really took was just 10 or so seconds to write a note. So you got to mark everything and know exactly where you're going.
When the tyre blew, I had no idea that we did a tyre. The car didn't feel wrong. It didn't feel upset. The car was driving how the car should drive when we did the tyre. The only time that I noticed it was when the tread of the tyre actually came off of it from being so hot from being flat. But when that happened, it also took the brake line to that rear left caliper, which meant for the rest of the race we'd also lose brakes.
The process of changing a tyre, as I know from experience, it can go many different ways. There is so much adrenaline flowing through you. You're not really thinking about the exact process. You're just kind of throwing things around and hoping that a new tyre ends up on the hub. So I jumped out of the car, I grabbed the impact gun, I ran around, I dropped the impact, I run around to the back of the car, I grabbed the jack. I bring the jack back over to the back of the car, and then there's two Mexicans with the impact gun in their hand, undoing the tire, are yelling at me, jack up the car, jack up the car. And I was like, where did you two just come from? I had no idea. I jacked up the car, they ripped off the wheel, I passed them another wheel, they chucked it back on, I did up the lugs as I put the old tire back in the car, I dropped the jack, they put the jack back on the car. It was just this whirlwind of just me and these two Mexicans are just going at it for the one common goal of getting us back on the track. And that is the part of the romance of Baja that keeps you coming back. It is such a beautiful thing to be a part of, and that was one of the fastest tire changes I've ever seen. When you get towards the end of a race as a navigator, all you do is just really piss off your driver because you just keep on getting in their ear. I take that corner easy, I slow down, I do this, do that, because all you want to do is just have that goal in your mind, have it set and get it done. When we come around that right-hand bend and the town's there, I can hear the Mexican music, the tequila, the tacos, mum and dad. It's just this feeling of we cannot mess this up now. We are right there, and this is about to be one hell of a cool thing to feel.
I think we're about 15 or 20 miles out and we were sitting on top of a sand dune on the side of the highway, and I caught a glimpse of them coming out of the mountains. You know, I've seen just a ball of dust, and we're watching on the tracker, and me and Sarah and Jamie are all in the car together, and Mia, and we're watching, and we can see this ball of dust coming down. I'm like, it's got to be them, it's got to be them. And yeah, like 20 miles out from the finish, you see, you know, the Patriot TSCO Trophy Truck come blasting out of the desert into the sand dunes. They're coming hot. I didn't know at that time they had no rear brakes at all. So Christian was pedaling, and we had that front row ticket of the boys just, I didn't even get a camera out, you know, it was just that moment. The boys in the trophy truck, they're coming down, beach is right behind us, San Filipe is there, and it's like they're going home. This is gonna happen. This is going to happen. The Patriot team is going to complete our first race in San Filipe. So we've all jumped back into the TRX as we're coming into San Filipe. The traffic was about 2 miles of gridlocked traffic all the way back to the finish line. There was no way I was going to miss that. So we're into the desert. I'm talking like, if anything was going to break on that day, it wasn't the trophy truck, it was probably going to bend the TRX in half, because there is no way I was missing my boys crossing the line.
feeling of coming over the line and you're done, you don't have to think, you just cruise in, finish after where the timing ends, and you're just like sitting there driving, helmet on, around town, just like wow, wow, we actually got this done, we actually finished. It's just such a cool feeling and just such a weight lifted off your shoulders that we actually got the car to the finish.
We pulled it up just out of town and we sprinted the last maybe kilometre into town, and we've made it back to the finish line. And as we've made it back there, and the whole family's out of breath, and we get the word the boys finished across the line, and fuck, that's really emotional.
Yeah, dude. Shit, yeah.
Your head does the talking of, that was gnarly, I want to go to bed, I'm done, everything hurts, and then your heart kicks in and you're like, this has been one of the most amazing couple hours of being on Earth, just being able to jump in that car and get the job done and really finish off a goal that's been a part of our lives ever since we can remember. That was something really special that I know that I'll personally hold on to for the rest of my life.
The goal that we set out to do was finally done, and the whole team was there, and we were all there to just get this one job done. And we got that one job done, ticked off, finished. Now it's just time to get into the rest of the season and just do that over and over again.
Hey, yeah. So this race versus our main race at.
You know, for me, and everybody's got their own thing, right? You know, some people watch it and go, yeah, it's just a race or it's just a trophy truck, but it's the accomplishment that goes with it, right? It's the team, it's the family, it's, like I said, it's the handing over of the torch. You know, watching Christian and Ashton come down that, and they've driven the car up onto the box, and they are on the box at San Filipe in a finish race, in a brand new trophy truck, covered in Patriot campers, whole family's there, and Christian got interviewed for, I don't know, I think he got interviewed, probably the longest interview of anyone that was there. The presenters loved him, the story of, you know, another Australian team out there.
Mainly mum and dad for actually giving Ashton and me the opportunity to come out and do this.
Obviously, Toby and Paul have had an amazing success out there racing in Baja, and I don't think that the racing community's even seen what they're really capable of yet. So, and seeing the boys up there on the finish line in that truck, it was just, yeah, absolutely epic. We ended up finishing 11th. We're in 11th in class, which I can't be disappointed with that at all. Our first race, brand new truck, first time the twins have ever raced a truck. And if you add back the time that we lost just due to inexperience, you know, Jamie and I with our couple of incidents, and then the twins with their incidents, we were 30 minutes off a podium finish, which for our first race, absolutely amazing. I know we're on the pace and I know we can do it. I think, once again, I think that I know we've got the vehicle to run at the top. You know, the selection that we made with the TSCO truck couldn't have been any better. We've got an amazing team behind us with TSCO. We've got an absolutely amazing truck, a very capable truck, and I don't even know where that thing's limits are yet. But we've only done 250 miles in it. I think you're going to see a lot of good things come out of the Patriot race team. When Christian and Ashton got the seat time behind them and they qualified the thing up the front, and they will, I'll guarantee that they will. I'll kind of take a back seat and I'll race the longer races with them, you know. Hopefully I'll do 100, 150 miles here or there. But ultimately it's going to be the twins that are going to be taking control of it, and we've committed. We've committed as a family. This is what we love to do, and if that's just the start of the experience, the first race. I can't wait to see what the rest of the Baja series brings. The support that we get at all of our off-road races from our family and friends is it's a big part of the sport. And for this race down in Mexico, you know, there's no doubt that Mexico can be a dangerous place. And Sarah and Mia, while we're out pre-running and even on race day, we had one of our best friends in the United States out there with us, Marco, and his granddaughter Juliana. Now, we've travelled with these guys a lot, and they're not friends, they're family. You know, they are pure family. They'll do anything for us, and their primary job for this trip was to show us around, make sure that we didn't go into the wrong places, and we ate the right food, and we went to the right bars. And you know, Marco took care of Sarah and Mia during pre-running and on race day, and Marco is going to become a really big part of the Patriot racing team. You know, I'm looking forward to spending more time with him and his family. They have the same values that we do, and it wouldn't be Mexico, and I wouldn't have gone to Baja the first time without him. Is the TSCO coming home to race Fink? I can't answer that question right now. I really can't. Look, the TSCO was built as a Australian spec chassis. So we've put the larger trans tunnel in it, so we can put an Albans in it. We can put the truck back to right-hand drive if we wanted to, and it will take the big engine to suit the Australian regulations here. I think when it first started, when the truck was ordered, the intention was for that truck to come back to Fink. But it kind of seemed a little bit silly for us now that we have Patriot Campers Las Vegas set up over there. We have a home base. The family, we spend a lot of time in Vegas at the moment. So it didn't make a lot of sense for us not to fulfill the Baja dream, at least for one season, for a minimum of one season. Look, I think that decision will be made at the end of the season when we get to the Baja 1000. I think by then, that's the last race of the season. So San Filipe is the first, we've ticked that off the list. Fink, ironically this year, falls the exact same weekend that the Baja 500 runs. So we've made the decision as a family, our heart is always going to be in Australia, and we've committed to the Fink race. So we're taking the twins out to run the Fink race this year in the 10 car, and then we'll go back and we'll run the Baja 400, and then we'll run the 1000. And I think by the time the 1000 is concluded and it's finished, we'll see what we can achieve. Positions-wise, we'll see how the kids are feeling. We'll see what's happening with the budget. And that'll make the decision on whether the truck comes home and races Fink in 26 or possibly does another season out in Baja. Right now, I just can't answer that. That's a lot of IV for a fucking 20-minute episode.